In a recent interview with Edith Galambus and Elaine Ferguson, we learned how a Silver Dollar Challenge became a major source of funding towards the building of Blue Mountain Academy. It all began with the conversion of a young woman named Lydia Kester, who, after attending evangelistic sermons in Philadelphia, accepted the Adventist message. Her mother wasn't happy about this and decided to send her to Pottsville to stay with her grandmother, hoping that Grandma would straighten her out. Lydia was a bit concerned about how her grandmother would receive her newfound faith, but God blessed. Her grandmother was open and listened to all that Lydia had learned from the evangelistic sermons, and even invited the whole town to come and listen to Lydia speak.
She is responsible for Adventism coming to the Schuylkill County area. And I doubt very much if I would be Seventh-day Adventist if it were not for Lydia Kester.
Lydia loved the Lord and lived her life dedicated completely to the Lord's work. As an older woman, you would often hear her share her vision for a school for our young people.
But she always had a burden for young people. I can still see her sitting on the platform rocker in the corner of our kitchen, and she would start in about how the young people in Pennsylvania needed to have a boarding academy in the country, and that just was a burden on her heart. She'd have tears in her eyes when she'd talk about it. And she talked about it a lot.
We think it was probably camp meeting of 53 or 54 before the school opened, that Elder Unruh had prepared all of the children's divisions up through at least early teen, junior and early teen, to be ready for this event that was going to take place, where we would march down to the main pavilion, and the little kindergartners, maybe primary too, they had rhythm band instruments that they were playing on the way down, and the people in the main pavilion, it was an open air pavilion at Wescosville, they were singing Onward Christian Soldiers as we were marching down, and they had a section of pews in the front reserved for all of the youth and children, and we went in there and sat down, and when the music stopped, Elder Unruh stood up and he said something to this effect: "People of Pennsylvania, I have neither a chick nor a child, but these children that you see in front of you today are the future of the Pennsylvania Conference, and they need a school." And from there, they started to take some pledges toward the building of the school.
It was at this meeting that Lydia Kester stood up and said, "I've been saving silver dollars and I want to give them to help start a school." We know there are many untold stories of how these silver dollars were invested and would love to hear yours. The suggested return for each of Lydia's silver dollars was $100, a huge amount of money for most people at that time. Edith shared the story of a teacher who, making only $30 a week, took a silver dollar, believing God would help her bring a gift back to help with the building fund.
She was teaching in York, and she was at the meeting when the silver dollars was. I was there also, but I was not with her. I must have come with the Catholics because I didn't have a car, and I didn't see how I could ever make $100. Seemed like an insurmountable amount of money in a year. I didn't see how I'd ever be able to raise that.
Was that the suggested amount?
Yeah, and but my friend did take a silver dollar. And she didn't see how either with her time, whatever talent she had, or everything was involved in teaching her class. So she just took a little out of her $30 every week and set it aside so she would have $100 at the end of the year.
One of the actual silver dollars collected was recently donated to Blue Mountain Academy. It was taken by our first principal, Elder Jameson, and donated to us from his daughter, Barbara. We don't know what his investment was, but we are thankful to have one of the original coins. We learned that Lydia was going blind and had been saving the silver dollars for her eye surgery, and that is how she came to have 100 silver coins. She was thrilled to see that others were excited about making the reality of a boarding academy possible for our young people. Her one request was to be at the chapel with the students on the first day of school. She was there.
You know, and when you think about the dedication of this lady, and not only her, but the others who saw the vision of the school for BMA, for Pennsylvania. It's just really it really stirs your heart.
No, there was nowhere else she would rather be than at Blue Mountain Academy.
Today, we are presenting a new challenge in honor of Lydia and all the early pioneers that envisioned a boarding academy in Pennsylvania for our young people. We have 500 Sacagawea golden dollars that we would like to give as a challenge, and suggesting each coin can raise $1,000 or more. When Lydia's silver dollars were invested, all of the people who took one brought them back the following camp meeting and gave a full reporting of the funds they've raised. Our challenge to each of you that take a golden dollar is that you bring it back to our 2010 camp meeting and that we give a full reporting of how God has blessed, and that we join Lydia in helping Blue Mountain Academy to continue to be there to minister to young people until Jesus comes again.